All right, what's going on? Max here, and what I'm going to be doing in this video here is basically giving essentially the equivalent of an email marketing sort of free course, all right? Basically just going over everything that we do for our clients from a high-level overview to help them generate anywhere from hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in extra revenue every single year. Again, this is going to be very high level. I'm probably going to go more in depth in everything in a future video if this gets a solid response, right? And if there's obviously an interest in that sort of thing. So basically this video here is going to be tailored mostly towards e-commerce brand owners or marketing managers who are looking to increase their revenue and customer lifetime value, all right? All right, so diving in. Main sort of KPI to judge email performance on is percentage of revenue from email. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other sort of metrics that'll give you certain context into how things are going in terms of open rate, click-through rates, spam rates, all that other stuff. But all of those are pretty much sort of secondary metrics. All right, we pretty much only use those to determine what is sort of bottlenecking the results. So if the results have gone down and let's say open rates have like tanked, and then it's like, okay, we're probably going into the spam folder. But when you're looking to judge the performance of your emails, best place to sort of look is the percentage of revenue from email. And what I'm talking about specifically is this number here, this 45% of total. And here's sort of how you sort of interpret that. So 0 to 20% is considered poor, all right? Basically, there's tons of room for improvement in the account. You likely don't have all the different flows set up. You're probably not sending enough campaigns, etc., or the things that you are sending, just aren't resonating. 20 to 30% is considered decent, lots of room for improvement here. Basically, you have a lot of the core stuff set up, but still, there's a lot of optimization work to be done. 30 to 40% is considered good, still room for improvement. Again, a lot of this is just going to be optimizing what's already working. And then 40% plus is considered excellent. Basically your email marketing is pretty much maxed out for the time being. Now, of course, you could increase that even further by continuing to grow the list at a faster rate, increasing the list growth rate, etc. Continuing to optimize the current flows and campaigns that you guys are sending out through A/B testing. But generally, at this point, the higher ROI thing to be focusing on is scaling other channels, specifically on the front end of things. All right, so let me give you some client results to sort of show you what a successful result looks like. All right, so as you can see right here, 45% of total revenue is coming from email. That basically indicates, excellent results right here. Focus on scaling other channels. And then this one right here, 49%, or 49.7% of total right here. This one, 58% of total revenue. Let's see. And then 30%, this is one of our newer clients. We're only 2 months in, but they started out at like 11%. So. And then this one right here, 59% of total revenue coming from email. All right, so again, basically at this point, like these accounts are pretty much maxed out for the time being. And of course, we're going to continue to push those results even further through A/B testing. But anyways, if you like those results and you run a brand doing at least $80,000 a month in revenue, we will add an additional $50,000 in revenue within 45 days, or you do not pay. If you're interested, book a call here. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below. All right, so how do you achieve those results? All right, so really what it comes down to is optimizing these three core components: pop-up forms, flows, and campaigns. All right, now the pop-up forms is going to determine how fast your email list grows. The more people that you're sending emails to, the more money you're going to make, obviously. All right, so you do that by optimizing the pop-up form. Flows, this is basically how much money you're generating per email that's on your list, that's also engaging with the website, etc. How good your flows are going to affect what percentage of those people become customers. So obviously you want to make the flows as good as possible. I'm going to show you how to do that. Campaigns, basically these are just one-time sort of broadcast to your list. And how well these resonate with your audience is going to determine how long they're going to stay engaged with your guys' brand. So if you're sending out you know, poor campaigns, then obviously people are going to stop opening your emails. All right, I'm going to show you how to send campaigns that people actually, you know, like to open and will continue to open until they become a customer. All right, so pop-ups. This determines your list growth rate. As I was mentioning, you want to typically aim for 8 to 12% plus conversion rate, you know, percentage of website visitors that subscribe to your list. That should have a parentheses there. All right. You accomplish this by testing these variables. So the offer is going to be the most important. This is the one that is going to require the most of your time and attention, just coming up with different offers, testing them out, and tracking those results. Targeting, all right? Who does this get shown to? You know, what's sort of the time delay? How often does it get shown to them? Like, for instance, if they come to the website and exit out of it, how many days until they're eligible to be shown this again? That sort of thing. Design, this is going to be the least important, but there's a few sort of guidelines for that, which you'll be able to see here in this swipe file. I'm going to leave the link in the description as well. But basically, this just goes through all of the... this is basically just a swipe file that we look at whenever we're building pop-ups, and it's generally a solid place to start, although you're definitely still going to have to A/B test for your brand to sort of make those, find the optimal design for your pop-up. So go check that out. That's a pretty solid place to start. All right, now for the flows. So most of this is going to be covered in this here flowchart, and basically I just go over everything from a high-level overview. Let me zoom out a bit here. But basically, this is going to cover everything in terms of like what flows you need to be setting up, and then campaigns over here towards the end. But we're just going to focus on these. So basically, flows are going to be broken up into acquisition flows. So this is somebody who it gets sent to customers and non-customers, but the traditional purpose of this is convincing somebody who isn't a customer. That's where most of the people are going to be coming from, or non-customers. You're essentially convincing them to become a customer, all right? And basically what that consists of is anybody who visits the site. So you have your site abandonment, anybody who's browsing certain products or categories, that's going to be your browse abandonment flow. Cart, anybody who abandons cart but doesn't, you know, initiate checkout. And then checkout abandonment is going to be anybody who is about to purchase from your brand. You know, they started checkout, but then they bailed. All right, so this is going to convert all those people. You need to make sure that you have these 4 abandonment flows set up. And then, of course, the welcome flow. This is going to be the most important flow. I'm going to show you a good starting point as far as the sort of content you should be including in your welcome flow. And it's going to be pretty sort of counterintuitive to what most other brands out there are doing. I'm going to explain that in more depth here in a second. Which brings us to the retention flows. So basically the whole point of this is to convert first-time customers into 2 to 4x customers. And essentially these are what's known as your post-purchase flows. All right, so typically how we segment it is by the sort of how invested are they in your brand? Did they purchase once from you, twice from you, 3 times from you, or, you know, 4x plus? That's typically how we'll do it. So on this one here, we have our 1x customer flows. These are people who are new customers, all right? They just purchased from you and they haven't yet experienced your brand. So you're going to be sending typically these types of emails. So customer thank you, this is just a plain text thank you note, basically thanking them for their business. It's like, wow, you know, like it means the world to us that people like you support us or whatever. Actually for this one, it's more so like, you know, welcome to the brand. We're so glad to have you here. Just wanted to reach out. You know, this is from the founder, let's just say. Just wanted to reach out and welcome you to the brand. And if you have any questions, let me know. And, you know, just respond to this message. We'd love to hear from you. All right, review request. All right, so this is after they've had time to receive the product. So this will typically be sent out, you know, like, let's say a week, 10 days, etc., depending on usually how long it takes for the order to be fulfilled. Basically just asking them for a review. Reviews are super useful for social proof on the website, etc. So super important. And then of course, more social proof on your website equals higher website conversion rate. So it's super useful. You could also use it in emails as well. Upsell / cross sell. All right. So, this is a good opportunity. You know, they've already purchased from you. They already have that buying momentum. Now, if you could offer them something that would improve their results, let's just say, or, you know, complement whatever product that they just purchased from you, put this in front of them. Potentially, you could give them an offer. There's a few different ways you could do this. You could do it by product. You know, if they bought this product, and people usually buy this product with this product, you could offer them the other product. You know, there's a ton of different ways to go about it. Just pick one, start from there, and then just A/B test something else against that. All right. SMS promo. So you want to be promoting your SMS list. Now, obviously, when people are signing up to SMS, there's usually going to be an incentive attached to that. You know, sign up for SMS and increase, like unlock 10% off or whatever. All right. Generally, you want to give them an incentive because, you know, 10% off of one purchase is going to be more than paid for by the extra sort of access that you have to their attention. All right. 2x customer flow. All right, so this is going to be sent to people who have purchased from you twice. All right, so you're going to be sending them a thank you note. This is going to be slightly different than the first, you know, thank you note, where it's basically like, wow, it means the world to us. You chose X brand to supply your whatever need, not just once but twice. It means the world to us, etc. That sort of thing. That you want this to be plain text, and the whole idea is that it's an authentic sort of note from the team or the founder. Whoops. Okay. VIP promo. All right. So basically, we're going to be promoting our VIP list here. All right. Now, you can sort of play around with what a VIP list, sort of what you do with your VIP list, but generally speaking, anybody who enters the VIP flow is going to be somebody who is a 3x customer or more, and then you're going to be giving them, you know, 2 great offers just right off the bat, and then sort of as the year progresses, you're going to give them early access to sales, early access to product drops, or early access to product restocks. You know, let's say a popular product was out of stock and you restock it, you're going to give early access to your VIPs. That's going to increase retention. All right. Now, the rest of the retention flows, in general, you know, not sort of divided into 1 or 2x. And of course, it goes into a lot more depth, but this is sort of just the foundation here. All right, so we have the VIP flow, which I just mentioned. You're just going to give 2 sort of great exclusive offers that you don't give to anybody else. It's going to be the VIP flow. Replenishment flow. All right, so not every brand is going to benefit from this. This is mostly going to be for brands that, you know, sell replenishable stuff like, you know, supplements or skincare. You know, after 30 days, you run out of the product and you need to reorder. That's where the replenishment flow comes in. Win-back flow. All right, so this is going to save anybody who is potentially on the verge of churning. You know, they purchased from you in the past. They haven't purchased in 120 days, let's just say. So that's when you hit them up. It's like, hey, like we haven't seen you around here in a while. Here's what you've missed. And then you follow up again. Let's say they don't respond to that. 10 days later, it's like, okay, we miss you around here, so we're going to give you, you know, 10% off, let's just say, and just sort of follow up in that way. So that's the win-back flow. All right, so that's basically all of the core flows from a high level. Again, this is just a starting point. You know, for your brand, it's going to be somewhat different in terms of like what's going to work the best for, you know, your replenishment flow or, you know, your abandoned checkout. All right, so you're going to need to use some creativity there. But in this video here, I'm going to be revealing a solid content strategy that typically works very well for our welcome flow. All right, so you can basically just steal this, okay? And again, still need to test everything after I give you this, but this is a very solid place to start. So, all right, look at this. Let's zoom in here. Okay, welcome flow. So, welcome email 1, this gets sent to anybody who signs up to the list. And basically, you're just going to be introducing the brand, what they can expect, and this is going to be important, but separating the brand from competitors. Because what happens is, you know, how customers think, especially when they don't really know your brand, is they're sort of placing you into this category. You know, like let's say you're a women's fashion brand, all right? They're probably subscribed to like 3 to 5 other women's fashion brands, and they're sort of like window shopping between each one. All right, so you're all sort of in the same category in their mind, and they're typically, you know, going to be shopping mostly based on price, unless your, you know, clothing is like super unique, let's just say. This also applies to supplement brands. That's typically how they're thinking about it. Now, how you could sort of break out of that is by focusing on unique selling points. Right now, with clothing or with jewelry, it might be like a very unique piece that no other sort of brand has, and then just focusing on those. Or if it's supplements, it could be like a unique selling point again, like this is made from all natural ingredients. It doesn't include artificial coloring like Red 40 or whatever. Just focus on the things that your customers actually care about, and you're actually going to need to A/B test this, all right? Unless you already know what your customer actually cares about. So you could A/B test this through email marketing, and then apply it to your ads. I've seen that work really well. Or you could test it on your ads and then apply it to your email marketing. Just find what your customers are actually buying the products for, and you could do like customer research, things like actually asking your customers. Like actually, one of our clients did that, where they ran a sort of phone campaign where they just called all of their customers and whatnot and figured it out that way. Or you could just A/B test it right here. So that's what I would actually recommend. Anyways, all right, so here's another sort of hack. Resend email 1 to non-openers after 24 hours with a different subject line, because some people aren't going to be opening the first one. That's not to say that they wouldn't have opened it. Maybe they just missed it. Maybe the subject line didn't really appeal to them, etc. So you're going to hit them with a follow-up with a different subject line. And that's going to capture an extra, few $1,000s in revenue. All right. Welcome email 2 is going to be the brand story. Again, this is sort of just building that personal connection with the customer and sort of separating it even more with against the competitors, in terms of like, okay, like now they actually associate your brand with like an actual story rather than just being another sort of jewelry brand or whatever. All right, so email 3 is going to be social proof. All right, this is the best way to persuade people. It's just, all right, rather than tell them how great your product is, and just show other customers like them who it's improved their lives, or it's like, okay, like this mattress has changed my life forever, or whatever. Now they're thinking, oh, like if it worked for him, then it must be legit. So use reviews, use press mentions, use customer user generated content, if applicable, if you have a jewelry brand or whatever. Basically just have social proof. All right. And then from there, what you want to do is regularly A/B test different content angles. This is going to be important too, especially later on in the flow. So as you can see right here, this one, we're just testing sort of the different order that we're sending the different content angles. So you could even test that. It's like, what order should we be sending this to people? All right. And this one actually ended up outperforming this side. So that's exactly why you need to A/B test that. All right, and then somewhere down here, you don't want to just be sending straight content. Now, obviously, most of it you want it to be content and sort of educating them about, the brand, what makes them different, how to solve certain problems. Basically, just giving them value so that, now they're trained to keep opening the emails that you're sending. But at a certain point, you also got to remind them about the welcome offer, because now they might be ready to buy. Whether that's, it's just a better timing for them personally, or maybe you just convinced them, and sort of indoctrinated them to the point where they're like, okay, I'll buy your stuff. Restate the welcome offer. That one's going to do pretty well. So let's scroll down here. All right, and then the rest of the content angle, talk about brand unique selling points. Talk about one per email. All right, don't just jam everything into one email. Like you could do that towards the beginning in like sort of infographic form, where they could sort of just at a glance see what makes the brand different and sort of internalize it that way. But later on, you want to sort of keep it to one topic per email, rather than, I see this all the time with different brands, like, oh, let's tell them about our loyalty program and let's tell them about all this other stuff. Don't do that, all right? Because people have short attention spans. You want it to be as readable as possible, and make it so that they could just scan through it and sort of understand the gist of what the email's about, and in a way that they come away with it thinking, oh, okay, like, I guess this brand does this differently. That's great to know, okay? So yeah, that's basically it for the content for the welcome series. So again, this is just a starting point. You're going to need to do a lot of A/B testing to sort of get similar results to this one, because this came after like 6 months of A/B testing pretty much every different variable in their welcome series. So campaigns. All right, so this is the last sort of big component in maximizing the results from email. Basically, the main problem that I see time and time again, and I audit dozens of different Klaviyo accounts per month, so I see this all the time. Most brands are sending mostly sales-based campaigns, all right? And this is mostly incorrect. What we see with this too is engagement rate drops off. People are prematurely churning before, like even when they're a customer, they're a one-time customer and they just keep getting blasted from emails. And I see this all the time too. Like the customer support team will like tell us like, like before we started working with you, like every so often we would hear like, all right, like I like your brand, but I unsubscribed because like I just kept getting sales pitches and you guys were pitching like every single email, it just got too much. All right, so that's exactly why you need to be adding value in each email. All right, well at least 80% of the time, and of course obviously you got to pitch your product, do a sales-based or product-based campaign, but what we've seen is an 80-20 ratio is generally sort of optimal. Sometimes it's a little bit different, 70%, 70 to 30 ratio of value to sales-based, etc. So just test it out. Here are some different campaign angles, all right? Rather than just spamming your product all the time, do these. So Instagram user-generated content, all right? Reviews, all right? Take reviews from your customers and use that as a social proof campaign. The myth, basically, just attack a popular myth in the industry. Press mentions, again, more social proof, but sort of in a different, from a different angle, let's just say. How the product is made, all right? Now they're going to start imagining in their head, like, when they see your product, all this work that went into it. And also, if one of your sort of selling points is it's eco-friendly or it's not fast fashion or whatever, now they're thinking, oh, like, if I buy this, I'm a good person now. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of thing. Gift guide. All right, so these generally work throughout the year. Like you don't necessarily need to only do it for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Christmas or whatever. Any sort of big holiday, like even 4th of July, you could do a gift guide, or Valentine's Day, etc. Gift guides usually tend to work quite well. How to solve X problem. And again, you don't even necessarily need to be pitching the product, like you can towards the end. Just tell them how to solve a certain problem. Like, for instance, skincare. Like, if you suffer from eczema, like, here's typically what works to solve it. Like, here's how you solve it. Give them information, sort of like a blog style, but make sure that's high quality information. Don't just give them, stuff that doesn't actually work. Like if you give them stuff that works and then they try it, and now the trust with your brand has gone up a lot. It's like, oh, they solved this problem. What happens if I buy their product? Now they're a lot more likely to buy your product. Ingredients, okay? Like what are the actual ingredients going into this? Now, a lot of people who buy e-commerce, specifically from supplement brands, skincare brands, a lot of them are really into this, they're really health conscious, let's just say. So in that case, just tell them what's going into the product. Be like, oh, like this includes blueberries because it's high in antioxidants or whatever. All right, people like to know that stuff, and it's just interesting. All right, us versus competitors. Again, this is sort of like you could just build sort of like a infographic chart where it's like the next leading competitor includes this, and then it's like we don't include this, so it's better for you. Sort of give them in a visual format how your product is actually better. Blog content. Again, just any sort of long form article. Now, you don't want to spell out the entire blog in the email, but basically just give them a preview, but also spike some curiosity a little bit where it's like, oh, like that's interesting. Like, let me keep reading to, know the answer. Then they click to the website. All right, that's also going to feed the flows in terms of like, site abandonment or browse abandonment or whatever. But also it's going to increase sort of their perception of the brand. It's like, oh, well, that's some useful information. I'm more likely to keep on coming back. Also, within the blogs, you could like plug your products where it makes sense. So let's say they're super engaged with the article and it's like, oh, well, you could do this to solve this problem. Or you could just buy this product. Like we've created it specifically to solve this problem. Now there's a selling opportunity, but in a way that's like subtle enough where it's like, okay, you just gave them some value. You presented this as an option. It's like, okay, you could buy this, or you could just keep reading the article. Like it's not like a hard pitch, all right? Some examples. So I'll leave the description to this one here as well in the description, or maybe I won't, we'll see. But here's some examples of emails that we did for our customers. So take a look at these. All right, here, if I could zoom in. My computer's kind of being slow right now. Too many tabs open, you know. All right, product benefits. All right, so for instance, how to choose the best whey protein. All right, why whey? All right, and then sort of break it down and in a way that sort of informs them. All right, here's the optimal way to choose the best whey protein to solve this certain goal. All right, here's why. Here's why whey protein is better than, let's say, casein protein. Right, and then this one right here. This is social proof. All right, so let's see. All right, and then these are sort of like micro influencers that also work with the brand, where it's like, I approve of this product. You know what I mean? So we're leveraging their authority in the space as well. That's going to convince people sort of indirectly to buy the product rather than just like a hard pitch where it's like, you know, buy now. All right, product curation plus social proof for a jewelry brand here. So let's see. I don't know why I put social proof here. This isn't a social proof one. This is more of a product curation. So whatever. All right, so introducing a new product category plus reasons to buy. All right, so this is more of a sales email, but it's basically giving sort of a logical breakdown of certain situations where you would benefit from this. Like, oh, I never necessarily thought about this. Like, this actually protects your dog from the sun type thing. SMS promo right here, which I went over earlier. Let's see what else we got. SMS promos. Yeah, a lot of these are sort of like product-based emails, but anyways, you get the whole idea. All right, so here we're breaking down the unique selling points. Like, why does this certain selling point matters rather than, you know, like just buying cheap dog clothing, let's just say. So those are some examples of the emails right there. In terms of, those were more like sales-based emails, and then the product-based emails. I'll probably make a separate video on those, going over some examples. But anyways, that's basically it for this video. So basically the core strategy here is just optimizing those three areas. So it's going to be the pop-ups, the flows, and the campaigns. Pretty much everything that I mentioned here is a solid starting point. But of course, you know, every brand is going to be slightly different. Most of the process is going to be A/B testing once the initial setup is complete. So that being said, if you run a brand doing at least $80,000 per month in revenue, and you want us to do this for you, what we'll do is we'll add a $50,000 increase in additional revenue within 45 days, or you do not pay, provided that, you know, it makes sense and you're a good fit and all that. If you're not a good fit, I'll just let you know and give you an audit anyway. Anyways, if interested, book a call here. I'm going to leave the link in the description below, but other than that, thanks so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.